This is day 398 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor an upcoming share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. It would be greatly appreciated. Today we are doing Siman Reishain Ab still. We are doing today Sif Chaf Zayin. Chaf. Misha Shechach L'Kadesh Arach Harbichas HaMoitzi. So we forgot to make Kiddush until after made a Moitzi. These are weird cases. A lot of these cases Reishain never ever came up in history, I assume. Or like once in the course of our long goals. Somebody forgot to make Kiddush until after you made a Moitzi. Remembered before he ate. Yikar shall pass there before you partook of the bread. So you made a Moitzi and then forgot. Well, I don't say forgot because that might be absent. Although probably not. Yikar shall pass there, you should make Kiddush on this bread. Then eat it. Yikar shall, you shouldn't make Kiddush on wine. You can't eat a bracha to have that Moitzi batala. Because then that Moitzi will be for naught. It's not going to work afterwards. But like we said before, because of this this came at Shehiv Sevi Kiddush, because he interrupted with the Kiddush, which is hefsek to the Achila. The Bashadim Acha Moitzi, it's clear that if he ate that Moitzi, Yavsik Sudaso, Misudaso, he should interrupt his meal, be asked Kiddush on and make Kiddush on wine. Ain't no rak pas, if he has only bread, he kach lechem mishnah sholem. Should take another lechem mishnah, interesting. Yikadesh, will be Moitzi, and make the Kiddush without a Moitzi, like we said before by Paris Mapo Makadesh. Also, we didn't eat yet from the Motzi, but you already started cutting the chalos. You should take the second challah, a whole one. You'd start for a shlema, a shnia, and take it and put it together with the second one, which is sholim. You cut the chachas, you only cut one. Or shtei chalos, take two chalos, acheros, you cut the shneim, you cut both of them. You ask a kiddush, you make kiddush. You only have shnei chalos, acheim, tzol bar gam hamoitzi. Now this is interesting. That if there's two new chalas, you have to make a motzi from afresh. Shaylo, you'll put up a cloud, but you should make a motzi because these were not in front of him. He made a motzi, and when he made that motzi, he didn't have any das to actually have them. He says brackets. I'm going to Abram. Coming else, Kosh Gosabu. Abram means this. Avod Bavdola. Mira can't show us a motzi. Shal Avdio. Bavdola. Said I'm going to have a malka. You forgot to be your makeup dough. But these goes you remember before you eat. You have to make the motzi. You have to eat the motzi. You have shalapas. Can't make abdol on bread. To do to be a bracha batol. If it's best to eat a little bit before abdullah, when you grow bracha batol, then make a bracha of a motzi for naught. However, you have stick, and then you should interrupt via abdil and make abdullah. The gam abdullah yochal those that eat by abdullah should not eat. Rather, abdil mikoydem. Should make Avdol first, and then make a second Amitzi. B'yochal eat. Avgav tiyah bracha. Yishal b'torah. Even though this makes his first bracha for naught. Shouldn't also echol come out Avdol because not eat for Avdol, and it is a hard stop. Arena Moab Sifei Pasuk Moshalan Mikolim. He says you should eat a little bit of Amitzi before you make Avdol. The Mishnah Berurah says that you don't make a bracha on the wine which you drink. After the cup of Kiddush. You're not using a cup of Kiddush. I know what he's talking about. Oh, maybe it's the next one. Yeah, it's the next one. Okay. If he says, the Kiddush you should say, if you made that motzi, and you remember you didn't say Kiddush, is this the bracha, Sheker Shem Tzasabra Tzavanu? By Chulu, you should say during the meal. Makes sense. Mishnah Berurah says also name Avram that those who pass can have those Rabbanan. For them, you don't have to make it have sake, but rather finish your meal. Not just eat that moitzi. Finish your meal and then make up the. I guess he's inclined the basket way. Okay, Chaf Alf. Avagav the also he time kind of kiddush. You know now it tastes anything for kiddush. Come never seem time. If you didn't taste, I feel awful. And if you ate. You make kiddush afterwards. Reaction is immediately when you remember. I feel balayla even in the middle of the night. The kind of will hold tar mekadesh tar mavdio. Despite the fact you should not have done so, if you taste it, you're mekadesh. If you taste it, you're still mavdio. Veneerly, it seems to me that Afim amazing also okay, even did so deliberately. Nevertheless, you're not exempt from Hakidosh of the afterwards. Mishalo Kiddush Balayla Ben Mishoy Ben amazing so he didn't make Kiddush tonight, whether it was an intentional or deliberate. Mekadosh Lamocha makes Kiddush the next day, but Kiddush Balayla makes it says the Kiddush of the nighttime. Levad Vaychulu. Can't say Vaychulu. She'eno Vaychulu Eno Omer Vad Vaychulu the Eno Omer. So that's Vaychulu that you don't say. She'eno Omer you don't say. The Vaychulu Eno Ela B'Chnisa Shabbos. Vaychulu is only meant for the beginning of Shabbos. Because that's when Hashem completed his work. Ukshemakachi Kamashos Balayla. I'm going to skip, sorry. Maybe I was thinking, why do you say, sometimes we make Kiddush several hours into the night, and we still say Bayachulu. There's a Shayla, that's not a question. The entire night you can say Bayachulu. We make Kiddush next day, that kills also the bird of the Kiddush of the daytime. There's no requirement to separate Kiddush on the daytime by itself. Kiddush echad olel yom, that one Kiddush that you're going to make. When you make Kiddush for night, it works for both night and day. Chapes. Tzarech shiyatei mapa l'shulchan tachas apat as mapa chespus apas. There's got to be a cloth on the bread and cloth over the bread. Let's make all Klal Yisrael. We usually have a plate underneath, but the point is the same. You don't put it directly on the table like the shikva satal, like they do in case the mud in the midbar. And he says here, who boy? Not always done in my household. You said this before Shabbos begins. Mr. Buddha says also in Shachris, you have to have the bread covered until after Kiddush. For, I guess the following reasons. Okay. And Arukh HaShulchan continues. In time of the Talmud, when they have small tables, in front of each person in a shulchan, there was a table. They put the bread on a different table, not in front of the small table. And after Kiddush, they bring the, no, they will put the small table somewhere else until after Kiddush. And only after you make Kiddush, they'll bring his table from him. Like have those TV trays. So you didn't have to cover the bread because it was not present in front of you. Now we have one large table. It's always in the place where you're eating. And the bread must be on the table. Interesting. Kiddush Makom Suda also means that the Su'uda should be there at the time of the Kiddush. That's a good one. Shezel Yakra the Shabsah. I'm not sure it means it literally because it just calls it. Then Yakra the Shabsah, the honor of Shabbos, not necessarily because of the Kiddush Makom Suda Lomdus. Be there some way. That's where you're compelled to put on the chalas a cloth, pass both stove. That the bread should not see its embarrassment. They're not making Kiddush on it. It's interesting. I always thought that it's because the bracha on bread comes first. So therefore, the embarrassment of the bread is that we're not making the bracha on it first. But he's saying the embarrassment of the bread is not making Kiddush on it. According to this, after Kiddush, you can remove the cloth. Because of Otam, but the Torah wrote another reason. She was Zechel Amon, as we mentioned a few moments ago. It's like it commemorates the Moshe Mekusimil Malamata, which is covered from on top and below. According to this, the cover should be until after the bracha of Hamotzi. Okay, the Minhag, he says that's the custom, not in my house. Mishabura, his writes, and the Pri Megadim says that according to all the reasons, it's enough when you're making Kiddush and wine that should be covered until after the Kiddush. It seems to say that according to the Zechel Amon, it's best to be covered until after Hamotzi. To me, it would seem that having covered till after the Birchos Hamotzi is making a hefsek between the bracha and the bread and the eating, and also it seems that a bracha should be made, the bread should be made on seeing the bread, as we more or brachas on the fruit when we have it in front of us. So that's what we do in the Beck Opera household. Yes, you should be in chalos after kiddush. That's and then some people bring the chalos after kiddush. V'zeino must speak the time should pass b'shto. That only works for the first reason. That bread should be embarrassed. But that's not appropriate. When you make kiddush on bread, also the bread should be covered, obviously because of the zeichel amon. Yud umekadosh al kosmo yain shaloya pogum. Was to be a cup of wine, which is not pogum, meaning that they didn't have it hasn't already been used. The Shabbat says shas atchaki. We have no other cup. I have no other eitzah to fix the cup by pouring in a little wine, pouring out a little wine, as we saw way back when. Then you should just use what you have. But the Eish Ram says that, like by kiddush at night, it's possible that it's better if you only have yayin pogum to your kaddish on bread. Which is an interesting thought. Anyway, back to Rosh Hashanah. Everything which is does do by a cup bench, you do here too. It's got to be rinsed on the outside, but rinsed on the inside. It's got to be full. Pogum, the wine should not be already used. The also kiddush in the morning should be the same. Also the same. The general principle, because anything which you require by the cup of benching, and so too by kiddush yotav. It's preferable, of course, take it with your two hands. But then hold it in your right hand only. And lift it up from the table of teva. And you're supposed to look at the cup. You wrote by Birchas Hamazon. Chuli says, of course, if you're lefty, left hand. Even though you said it in Yeshua, because you have to say it again in the cup, to fulfill this obligation of Vayechulu, which is La'id al Kodesh Baruch Hu Ma'aseh Bereishis, to testify on God and occasion Esbanah before his children, may base members of his household Shalom Ruah Dain, who did not say it yet. Kigon Shalom Hayu B'Beis such as if they weren't in shul. L'chakach Marich Bar Pri Gefen the Kiddush, and then you make a Bar Pri Gefen and the rest of Kiddush. Chavdalit. In Tzichim La'asos Kiddush Me'umar and Yushav. If you have to sit down or stand up, it's not explicit anywhere. It sounds like it doesn't matter. The Sim is twisting around, they sat down during Kiddush. Because of Sham, the he says on the first night of Sukkot, you have to stand up during Kiddush in order so you shouldn't sit before you make the bracha. Leishim Sukkah should be Oibas Yosa. But Ravid rejects this. The Gam Osim Yusha that even Sukkah's night you do make Kiddush sitting down. It's quite clear. Show you Osim Yusha they would sit down and drink Kiddush. Same for Mitaisus Brachis the Kol Davar Shachilo Shasia and everything between the Shetzarch Lo Tiachim Brachasa had the Motzi Oz Bracha Tzarich Lios Yusha. You got to be sitting down to make it a kiyus and a union. The Gam Avdol Kosev Shetov Selas Mishav Ein Sham. Also, Avdol wrote it's best to make it sitting down. But Shmamina Osim Yusham, this we do said they were doing sitting down. The Chachmei Kabbalah Kosvu Asois Mu'umad. The Kabbalah says make it standing up. No Igar reason that was Minig Arizal, and of course the Minig of I think most Chassidim today as well. For the Cheza Kos Kinei Chazel, or Arizal would hold the cup opposite his chest. The Mekadosh would make Kiddush standing up. Why is that? The brachos shel hakala tzarich lios me'umad. By the brachos of in the kala, by chasna, supposed to be standing. The Shabbos you kala. Shabbos called it kala. Moshe Bamri, like we say, boy kala, boy kala. Umitin ankpeda. According to strict level, there is no requirement either way. Kakosa Tasham the Akshois and Me'umad tastes red. But if Taisus wrote that if you do it standing up, if everybody prepares himself to listen, they fulfill the obligation, in the bracha of the Ba'abais, Gamumad, if they're standing, Ayin Sham. But everybody agrees should be said standing up, Kavan the Zehu Eidos, because it says someone only recently I saw for the first time in my life, but somebody sitting down for Vaychulu, and I was shocked. גם בזה שאין ישן אומרים רק יצא יום השישי ויכול השמיים. But lo and behold, this is those who only stand for Yom HaShish V'Yichulu Hashemayim, Rashi Teva saying Shem Havaya Baruch Hu, because that's Rashi Teva Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei, Yom Yud HaShishi Hey V'Yichulu Vav Hashemayim Hey. And the Oindim L'Chvoido, they stand in honor of the implicit Shem Hashem. Chav Hey V'Zel Sharei B'nei B'Yisrael B'Sif Yud V'Omer V'Yichulu Muma, they say V'Yichulu standing up. Hamer Bar Priagavan, they say Bar Priagavan, V'Chad Kiddush, and then the paragraph Kiddush Akal Sharo. Mishitchi is showing up from the surface of his language. Shemash, when it seems that Chad V'Yichulu Tzarech L'Shem, after you finish V'Yichulu, you gotta sit down. Rabbeinu Makasal said V'Zel Sharo Ramah writes Yochel Amo B'Shas Kiddush, you may stand up Shem Kiddush. Yes, until L'Shem, it's better to sit down. He says in brackets here, because that's what you wrote, that makes more of a clear. And the Ramah says people would sit down during Vaychulu. Actually, just when they begin, they stand a little bit. The Chavod Hashem, the honor of the name, because we start with Yom HaShishi. Now, it's a big question whether you start with the words Yom HaShishi or the pasuk, because here he says in brackets, he says even though the pasuk starts Vaychulu, we start for the words before. And by the we say V'Yichulu Hashemayim. So the last two words of the previous pasuk, and these two words, beginning words of the next pasuk, makes Rosh Tevos of Shem Havaya. When you begin, you look at the candles. The Shas Kiddush, when you make the actual Kiddush, because your brach, you look at the cup. Kain Nirali. That's what it seems to me. Akal Shana, end quote from the Ramah. You should put your direct your eyes at the candles and at the cup. See, it's Ayin B'Kos Medina. To look at the cup is the strict letter of the law. Like any kosher bracha. Looking at candles is a hidden Kabbalistic issue because it's healing for the eyes, as is mentioned in the Gemara. Mishnah says people are not so meticulous about this. In order for me to do this, and I do this, I have to turn around where I'm standing 180 degrees to see the candles which are behind me. But I do this. And I always thought it's not just a school of getting one's eyesight fixed, but rather it's the two candles are connected Zachar B'Shamar, and therefore Vaychulu, which is testimony, is corroborated by these candles, which indicate the mitzvahs of Shabbos. Especially there are two witnesses. Okay, that's forgot to say Vaychulu before Kiddush, only tell Chasula HaKoyes. Wow. Say Shemil on a cup. In was Yom HaShishi himself pasuk Vayalakim is called Shasa. Neitel Mo Vayer Vayvoker Yom HaShishi. Yom HaShishi is the end of a long pasuk which precedes that pasuk Vaychulu. Chen Yesh Lo Gulmar Blachas Kol pasuk. Those who say silently the entire pasuk. Umaschilim in Yom HaShishi Koram. They start with Yom HaShishi in a loud voice. Latam Kadesh Lo Tias Kol Ben Pasuk. That's so they shouldn't start with a pasuk. To Nachon who, and that is appropriate, as Chatoy Animas Kir Hayoim. And when I was a young child, the minute of the family was to start for the beginning of Vayir Vayvoker Yom HaShishi, and I stopped doing that, and I rely on the fact that Yom HaShishi is only two words, and Kol Pasuk Lo Paskei Moshe is only when you have three words, as indicated by the Gemara in Gittin. So, but the Arukh HaShulchan even is saying to do the alternative, which is not to start from Vayir Vayvoker, which is the middle of the pasuk, by the Esnachla, but to start from the beginning of the pasuk. V'Alakim is Kol Asher Saw. Yineito Ma'od. Start from there. That I've never seen somebody do, but since they were saying Kol Achosh, I might not see it. Chav Vav. Mina Tevos Shel Kiddush Nimtza B'Sifrei HaKabbalah Shetzorach Leo Shishim Tevos. Shivim Tevos. There got to be 70 words in Kiddush Lamed Hei V'Vaychulu, 35 Vaychulu Lamed Hei B'Bracha, and 35 in the Bracha. Yom HaShishi, and with those two words, Yom HaShishi, have Ayin base. It's 72 connected Shem Ayin base. Shutziru Shem Havaya Baruch Hu. That is the corresponds to the name of 72. There is no name of 72. It's the name 3 the 72 three-letter names, but here he wants to say that it's one of the tzirufim of Shem Havaya. There it is, one Shem Havaya, which is not a Shem with 72 letters, but a Shem with the gematria of Ayin Beis. If you open up the Yud K Vav K to Yud Vav Dalet Hey Yud Vav Aleph Vav, I think. Hey Yud. So whatever. Hey Yud is 15 times True is 30, and the Yud Vav Dalet is 20. That's 50, and the Vav. No, Vav Aleph Vav is 13. That's 63. That's named Sag. So which is named Av? Yud. Hey. I spelled it at the end of the name 72. Good. Yud, it's 20. Hey, it's 35. 50 DM, that's 50. And the Vav, Vav Yud Vav. Vav Yud Vav is 26. No, it's 76. What's that? Vav Vav. See, math, it's on my forte. Yud Vav Dalet is 20. Plus the two, that's 50. Like the Hey, and Hey Yud, that's 50. And then I need Vav Yud Vav. Vav Yud Vav would make it another 22. Right, that's 72. Okay. So that would be, with the Yom HaShishi, with the 35 words in Baichur, 35 words in Bracha, that would make it 72. I lost my good place. We don't take the Bracha into account. Shu Brichas Yain, because the Bracha on what? It's on Pray Kiddush. This ain't so much ki hu yom. According to this, we would not say ki hu yom the Loki Bonavacharto, Amin, which makes it many more words, which Nuschari and perhaps other Nuschos, which I'm not familiar with, omit, and probably Dot Mizrach do as well. But we have a custom saying the Chalila Lishanos Shum Nuscha. Not something to change any version because they're all holy and Elu Belu. Rashi says Niskar Ki Yom Bekidush. Nisku Yom, the Rashi in Ksubas and Tosis and Pesachim mentioned this Kihu Yom Tchila Mikroy Kodesh Kihu Yom. This going to start with Tchila Mikroy Kodesh. The Kihu Yom is mentioned as part of Kiddush Ayin Shom. Brackets he says it's the Shekos Kon Chabes and you start in here. Kamkin Nuschasenu Einon Nechshav Reishis HaBracha B'Sov HaBracha B'Mispar HaTables by Berachas Per 11. So he makes a cheshbon to make it work out. Being the bracha, the end bracha, the Baruch Atah Hashem and Baruch Atah Hashem and Shabbos are missing into Baruch Atah Hashem. Yeah, so they're taken out and you're missing 11 words. Kind of so here we had 10 words. They might off, and we get all the way up to 71. Connected Sanhedrin, which at least brings us to the Sanhedrin. The Moshe Rabbeinu with Moshe on top of them. Kainu Sanhedrin Lomala, and so too it's Sanhedrin on high in Shamayim V'duk. Okay, Chav Zayin. B'zeh shomrim b'kiddush zeich l'tzias Mitzrayim. That's just saying kiddush that commemorates Tzias Mitzrayim. Before she came Pesachim, it says in Pesachim. Why? Torah Torah, the Torah is bothered by this. B'zeh Shabbos is zeich l'ma'aseh bereishis. Shabbos is zeich l'ma'aseh bereishis, not Mitzrayim. Pirshta Mikroi Kodesh Kai. Was to say that Mikroi Kodesh are zeich l'tzias Mitzrayim. Chilon Mikroi Kodesh is the first of the Mikroi Kodesh, zeich l'tzias Mitzrayim, which are the latter ones, zeich l'tzias Mitzrayim. V'shem Baram because of Shabbos Atzmo neged Tzias Mitzrayim. Then Baram wrote that Shabbos itself cries about Tzias Mitzrayim. Came with Tzias Mitzrayim. Nizbar Shu Yizbarach Elokei Kad Moin, because the Tzias Mitzrayim, the ancient quality of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who mechadesh was able to make novel ex nihilo phenomena with chafetz, and what he desires, he can carry out. Zel atzmo b'Shabbos. That is that is indicated by Shabbos, which of course is the combination of God's creation. But even as a Kutzke Pshuto, he wrote very simply: the Shabbos atzmo is Zechel Ma'aser Bereishis. The Shabbos itself is Zechel Ma'aser Bereishis. Shvisa Sa Evet. The Shabbos have a Zechel Mitzrayim, but that our slaves must rest on Shabbos. That Zechel Mitzrayim. The Dovers and Mefurish B'Dibros Achronas, and that is explicit in the Dibros Achronas. Manuch Avducha V'Amoscha Kamocha Zacharta Ki Eved Yisrael Mitzrayim. Which is a very partial thing. My understanding is that Shabbos, as I forget where I saw this the first time. It might speak about the next sif, but that the beginning of the brachos is Lashon Nistar, right? Asher Kiddushanu, not Asher Kiddushdanu, and the end of the brachos is Lashon Ocheach, Kibon B'Charto, and because Shabbos itself should be shaykh to all the world nations of the world, because all worlds should commemorate Ma'aser Bereishis. The Shabbos which we have is the unique Shabbos with Isra Malachos and Kiddush. That is what comes to us, B'nai Yisrael, only when we are sanctified by Kodesh Baruch Hu by Yitzias Mitzrayim. So it's also Mitzrayim, because the concept of Shabbos was of desisting from Malacha and of being Mekadesh. Kiddush is one which comes from Yitzias Mitzrayim, and that is much more direct to us personally, as opposed to the Ma'aser Bereishis, which is impersonal.